Welcome to this mini podcast series that is a preview for Brisbane Designscape Reconnect 23, a live event being held in Brisbane on the 4th of November 2023, hosted by OfficeScape. The theme for the day is Reconnect. My name is Paul Fairweather and I am the curator and MC for the day. And in this series of short interviews, I chat with the speakers and presenters about their ideas, insights, stories and observations about reconnection in their life, business, passion or career. My guest today is Professor Cheryl Desha from Griffith University. Professor Cheryl, please welcome to the mini podcast series.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you, or you speaking with us actually at the 4th of November at Brisbane Designscape. And we've got a variety of different people, but you've really got a sort of a very broad and long distance view of the world. What is it that you do?
Oh, thank you for asking, Paul. So I'm an environmental engineer by training, actually a fellow of Engineers Australia, proud engineering ambassador. And I spent some time in the private sector at Arup and then went back into university life to really explore how we can do things that are good for planet, good for people in the infrastructure world. So buildings, roads, bridges, anything that we create that actually is in harmony with planet along the lines of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or the UN SDGs that people know about these days. So I actually do that through the lens of disaster management and resilience. And that's pretty exciting in helping people have that bridge to the future and be future focused in creating places to live that aren't in harm's way and that do actually cater for our changes in climate that are evolving at the moment.
Wow. So when we're speaking earlier, you're saying it's really about before, during, and after. Is your focus. So it's very broad.
Yes. Yeah, we talk about in the disaster management network and community of practice. We talk about ensuring that we address risk. So we identify the risks that are in front of us around our built infrastructure, and we work to mitigate those risks as much as possible. So take the risk out of the way of what it means to live on a floodplain or on the side of a hill or next to a bushland, for example. But we're always facing the reality that we have residual risk. So then we think about, well, that residual risk that we face, how do we most effectively deal with that in ways that the community feels safe, the community still feel comfortable, that it doesn't feel like a fortress, and that they actually feel like they can engage with their surrounds. And if we can do that before in that prevention and planning phase, then that's brilliant. Then we face that reality of preparedness in terms of the what to do during an event and immediately afterwards. And then we have the response and recovery phases in disaster management. So actually having the blue and red flashing lights. People generally think that's everything in disaster management, but it's just that phase in response. To do that well and effectively with people in mind and non-people in mind, our critters around us, and then head into the recovery space, which is about building back better and not in harm's way.
I'm curious, you said you had a little time you started your career in Arups and you studied environmental science. I'm curious, did you think did you have any idea this is where you'd end up?
Oh, such a good question, Paul. So I did environmental engineering at Griffith last century. And actually, when I hit Arup as a graduate engineer, I realised that I'd never actually connected geography and place with my studies. And, the unis just weren't doing it back then because where is critical. And that's come up for me a few times in my career where most recently I've realised the importance of geospatial intelligence. So using ArcGIS, MapInfo, people might be familiar with that. Engineers and drafters and designers are familiar with grounding something in place, but it's not necessarily something that we've been dealing with as policy and macro decision making. So that imagining that environmental engineering training would take me into a field of study that was about designing for place and designing for systems, that was not something that I had imagined when I was at uni, but I really love the complexity of those problem challenges.
Actually, I think that's just listening to you and thinking about the other speakers of the day. We have Talia Stedman, an Indigenous lady from Blacklash, and she's talking about connecting with country. We also have an architect, Peter Richards, who is talking about hand drawing, sketching, and particularly about him, he uses drawing to connect with place. So I think the stories, they're all going to weave together fantastically. Yeah. So look, I'm really looking forward to you expanding on this theme on the 4th of November. So thanks for being part of the day.
Thank you so much, Paul. Looking forward to it.
So tickets are now on sale for Brisbane Designscape. Click on the link below. I trust you enjoyed this short snippet preview for Brisbane Designscape Reconnect 23. Live event being held on the 4th of November at 108 Wickham Street, Fortitude Valley. Tickets are now on sale and you can just click on the link below in the show notes. Hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in.